Ask.
Redshirt sophomore ranked third in the nation, Evan Wick, who's 18-1. His only loss was to Alex Marinelli of Iowa by the score of 4-3. Wick, an All-American, last year had a team-high 11 ranked wins. Last year won the bronze in the NCAA championships. And he goes up against Anthony Olivieri, who Nick has mentioned has had not wrestled a dual match this year.
Yeah, talk about quite the debut for him today. He wasn't even in the probables when the preview came out a couple of days ago. So how about this varsity debut for him? But got a daunting task. But I'll tell you what, if he can prevent bonus points, it only bodes well for the Scarlet Knights.
Like getting thrown into the fire, right?
I mean, Evan Wick's a national title contender. We saw last year, Lou, that Richie Lewis, when we were out in when I was still a student over at Rutgers University for WRSU, we went out to Madison, Wisconsin, and we actually saw Richie Lewis defeat Evan Wick in a tightly contested bout, and that was huge for Lewis's seeding at the Big Ten tournament. Wick is completely on a different level this season. He is in the national title conversation along with a guy like Alex Marinelli from Iowa and, of course, Vincenzo Joseph from Penn State, but you cannot rule out Evan Wick to make a lot of noise in Pittsburgh this year, and he certainly is one of the better ones in the Big Ten as well.
Wick has the first 2 points. He leads 2-0. Got the riding time up to 30 seconds and the meter moving.
And I know Olivieri has not shown much offense in this match, but he's shown some pretty good defense. But at this point, if you were Evan Wick and Chris Bono and staff, you were expecting Wick to be up big right now in the first period going against a kid making his varsity debut.
Well, Stefan Glasgow has wrestled at this 165-pound bracket throughout the season. He's 5-3 on the year, the freshman out of nearby Bound Brook, two-time New Jersey State champ. But as you mentioned, he's a little banged up.
Yeah, no use risking his health against a stud like Evan Wick. Give Olivieri a chance out there to wrestle fresh and try to save some bonus points.
Rutgers has a 10-6 lead in the overall score. And Olivieri got a point for the escape, so he's down 2-1.
He's hanging in there so far. I'll give you what, Wick has unreal length compared to most 165-pounders in this country. And you saw Olivieri, he's really throwing that whizzer in hard to try to defend these shots, but of course the length and the strength, especially from Evan Wick, is just a little bit too much. But so far, you're only down 4-1, and the riding time's over a minute right now. If you're Olivieri, I mean, you're not sitting totally pretty, but you're doing a nice job so far defensively in this first period. And what is the longest part of the match, the 3-minute first period.
So it's 4-1 in favor of Evan Wick, looking to go 19-1 on the season. And at the end of one, he's got a 3-point lead. He's up 4-1. He also has a minute 40 worth of riding time in his pocket.
If Olivieri can still hang on and limit the scoring here, it's going to be very interesting to see what Wisconsin does at 174. Because obviously, if you're missing one of your hammers and Ryan Christensen, who's a top 10 wrestler at that weight, and it's a big hole to fill. So they're either going to bump up Patrick Spray, who he only weighed in at 161. So just a little bit above 157. Of course, they had the option of bumping up Evan Wick, but it looks like it is going to be Spray. A little bit underweight at 174, and then we'll see we're going to have to see what Rutgers is going to do at that weight as well. Whether they're going to throw out Joe Grello or the newly ranked Willie Scott, at least according to track wrestling, he's ranked number 20 now.
Scott has been on fire. He's been a revelation this year for Rutgers, really.
And a guy who walked into the program, was not a scholarship wrestler at first. And I'll tell you what, Lou, we saw against Ryder just last month. I mean, how big he was to get the near fall points right at the end of the match, clinched riding time at the buzzer, and actually won before overtime to help Rutgers get a nice momentum swinging win later in that match. And they ended up, of course, running away with it.
Meanwhile, it's 6-1 here in favor of Evan Wick, with 45 seconds left in the second period.
And Olivieri doing a nice job, only trailing by 5. And of course, I would assume we're going to have to tack on that riding time eventually. But if you're Olivieri, I mean, right now you're preventing a major decision right now, and that's exactly what you wanted at Rutgers, because you weren't coming into this match really expecting to knock off one of the best wrestlers in the country at this weight. But I'll tell you what, if you could save bonus points, particularly even a major decision, and keep this only to 3 team points for Wisconsin, you can go into 174 with the lead.
Final 10 seconds of the second period. And a crowd applause Olivieri's effort.
It's great defensive effort from Olivieri. You can see on that nice takedown from Evan Wick, just taking the ankle, and of course the length, just too much for Olivieri. But I'll tell you what, he's holding strong. He's not stalling, he's working.
So Olivieri takes bottom.
Looks like Wick's gonna cut him immediately. Yeah, I think Olivieri chose bottom, and Wick wanted to cut him to go back to work in neutral, get more points. But I'll tell you what, Olivieri, how about this? What a shot, Lou! And he's gonna. This is the advantageous position for Olivieri to really prevent Wick from doing anything.
A point for Olivieri. It's down 6-2. And now Wick gets to the takedown, so he goes up. It's 8-3.
If you're Olivieri, this is where you have to be careful now. You cannot allow Wick to get into groove in neutral. Because at this point, if you're Evan Wick, you're going to be taking down, letting up, taking down, letting up, and go for that tech fall.
And 2 more for Wick, so now he goes up 10-3.
Yeah, you still have over a minute to go in this period, and that's a long time for Evan Wick to really run up this score. And if you're Olivieri, that riding time point's already locked, so you're basically down by 7. So if you can save the major decision, great, but at the very least, you have to save the tech fall and only give up at most 4 team points to Wisconsin and go into the final final 4 bouts tied up at 10.
Stall warning. Give it to Olivieri. And 2 more for Wick. So he's up 12-4 now.
And major's in play. Olivieri, you got to hold tough here. You got 45 more seconds. He was already hit for stalling once. And right now it's a 9-point lead with that riding time, so still 6 away for Evan Wick to get to that tech fall. And Olivieri doing a nice job posturing up and trying to get out of Wick's grasp as he threw the legs in. And it's not considered stalling just yet because Olivieri is still trying to work to get up. Doing a good job keeping his back up and holding strong against Wick's length.
20 seconds left here in the third period. Evan Wick's going to run his record to 19-1.
There's 1 more point for Wick in the stall, but it might not matter. I'm really surprised if you're Evan Wick. You saw it a couple times already, though. He took down Olivieri, let him back up, and took him down again. I'm really surprised he went away from that.
And he'll win it by the score of 14-4 with the riding time added on. And that ties the match at 10.